Hi there. My name is Terces and I'd like to take a moment and welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Choice. So I've been doing this for 210 weeks or something like that. And every week I say, thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. Thank you for being here and being a part of my journey. My journey began, well, I think all of our journeys begin when we're born. However, the journey I'm talking about is that journey of rediscovering ourselves, of healing and picking up those broken off pieces or shattered shards of our life and putting it back together again and discovering or rediscovering just who we are and how beautifully we're created and accepting that we're actually designed for something wonderful. And my journey began 38 years ago as I was recovering from sexual abuse as a teenage athlete, and then lived with an addiction or eating disorder for 20 years from 16 to 36. And this was my 74th year of life and celebrating 38 years of recovery. And what this podcast is actually about is sharing little tidbits of wisdom that I've gleaned over these years that I think are just universal for all of us. I think as we go through life, it's awesome sometimes to be able to have an elder or somebody who's gone before us share bits and pieces of their journey. And sometimes in that process, we hear something that we either have never heard before or haven't heard in just that same way, or there's just an opening in our lives and it resonates and we can take something away and add it to our life or apply it. And it makes a difference. It moves us further along on our own journey. It may be a piece of the puzzle that we were looking for that started to make sense of who we are and why we're here. And it's my hope that you get something from this. I don't have your answers. You do. Sometimes when other people share and we see ourselves in them, it's easier to discover what's true for us and answer some of our own questions. So that's my hope. So thanks again. Some of you have been here for a long time. Some of you maybe just a short while, and some of you are brand new. Wherever you are on that journey, welcome. And it's great to have you be a part of this. Okay, so also on Tuesdays, I offer sessions. And what I mean by a session is I give you a call or you connect on Zoom and I sit and I listen and you share something about your life with me and I reflect back what I see and what I hear. And I just want to tell you that usually what I see is how amazing you are, and what I hear is how far you've come and the value of the journey that you're on. And that's what I reflect back. And oftentimes that reflection is powerful because we can be so critical and judgmental, or we can get caught in a loop and be spinning our wheels. And when someone else can share what they see, we get a glimpse of it. And that helps us, again, discover more of who we were created and designed to be. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to tercesenglehart.com and there's a section called Work Together and you can schedule it. It's a donation basis. And I'd love to see you there. I'm always, 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 always inspired by the people who book and sit with me for a little while. So, yeah, that's an invitation. Okay, so this particular episode is called Attachments Cause Suffering and How Do We Let Go? Okay, so let's just say a little bit about attachments. Attachments, we all have them. You can be attached to your clothes, you can be attached to your home, you can be attached to your car, you can be attached to your pets. You can be attached to your job. You can be, I mean, they're everywhere, right? You can be attached to your clothes or particular clothes or shoes or whatever. All of those are attachment things that we have in place, we keep in place, we enjoy, we like, and some we don't, but we still keep them in place for security or safety or whatever. And those attachments are oftentimes familiar. They help us feel comfortable, they help us feel safe, they guide us, they direct us, they create our life in so many ways. And oftentimes we get to a place where that attachment has served its purpose and it's time to let go. But how do we do that? So I'm going to just share a story that's from my own life for a moment here. So part of my recovery journey was out of the eating disorders. I ended up getting implants, a type of dental implant that no, they no longer do. It's archaic. It's called a subperiosteal implant, and it's like a whole framework as opposed to like individual posts that they often do now, endosteal implants. That's not that, it's a subperiosteal. And I have an upper and a lower implant in my teeth attached to that. And I've had them for 35 years. And my upper one has had a couple of failings, and I've had pieces of it removed over these years, but really holding on to it because I have this idea based in some reality that without my implant, I'd be what they'd call a dental invalid. And I wasn't that interested in that. And so I worked really hard to take care of them. It actually inspired and helped me in changing my lifestyle. I didn't get the implants until I was well into recovery. And so, anyway, it's time to take one out because I've been fighting this kind of chronic infection. And the oral surgeon here said, chronic infections also can lead to heart attack or strokes. And in some ways, I'm so attached, I was willing to gamble that. But then there were a few things he said, even though I was very clear and told him, I don't like what you're saying. I don't want to hear any more. Gave me a treatment plan. I never even read it. This was back in August, I think. So, but there were some things he said, some little tidbits of things that kind of hung in there. And one, I realized he was an expert in what he was talking about. He understood sinuses. Now, I worked for the oral surgeon who put my implants in, so I have some knowledge about dentistry and oral surgery, and because I've lived with these, I have some knowledge of. I happen to know my implants in my sinus, which is probably why I have this struggle. But anyway, over time, I began to realize he was probably right. And it probably was the best thing for me to do, even though the future is uncertain. And, he said, after you heal, we can take a look at it. Maybe we can do another style of implant, do 4 implants. And I don't know about you, but I know they're very expensive. And I have this conversation with myself. Well, I don't know that I'd invest in them at this point in my life. But anyway, I'm telling you this story because I'm very attached. I'm very attached. I have 35 years of attachment with my implant, and I don't want to let go. But I can see that one, it served me well, that it's beginning to fail, that it's not serving me like it once did. And there's some lesson, there's some journey in trusting this doctor, uh, and letting go and giving it up. There'll be some benefit, some purpose, some meaning, even though I can't quite see it now. I'm a few weeks away from the post-operative appointment and about a month away from the surgery itself. So, but I can see that holding on to it is causing me suffering. I notice that I dream about it almost every night. There's some aspect of it in my dreams, in my consciousness. Maintaining it has become not a full time, but an everyday commitment. And yeah, so I want to share with you my experience again of how to let go. So give yourself time. Give yourself time to process it. Speak to or with uh, whoever might be involved in your making that choice. So in my case, I first went to my dentist and he referred me to the oral surgeon because I'm also new in this area. And I went to the oral surgeon and I got the treatment plan and I ignored it for at least 6 months. But it was there, it was in my mind. So give yourself the time to process the loss because when we let go, there's a loss. And when we're on this side of letting go, what we're present to is the loss. We're not present to the gain yet because we're not there. It's trusting that there will be a gain. It's trusting that you're still being guided, that you're being led, that there's a purpose greater than what you can see, and that what you have has served you well. And it's time to make room for whatever will serve you next. And in the process of giving yourself that time and then making the choice and then following through with that choice and trusting it, that too is a lesson. And there's an opportunity in that. So that's how you let go of your attachments. You identify them, you thank them, you appreciate them. You give yourself time to review how they've served you, how it or they have served you. You appreciate those benefits, are grateful for those benefits. And then you get in touch with or work with or process over this time you've given yourself whoever else might be involved in following through on the letting go part. And then you schedule it. You schedule it in your life and you let go, knowing that on the other side, there is some new opportunity, some new victory, some new benefit, even though you don't know exactly what it is yet. You've been cared for up till now. Something will leave, something new will come, and you'll continue to be cared for again. Okay, so this week, I would just start by identifying if this is a time in your life where perhaps there is an attachment that is now beginning to cause you suffering, that is no longer serving you as it once has. And just begin to become willing to let go. And I'll see you next week, and we'll continue on this conversation. Have a beautiful week. See you then.